Hi and welcome back. This is part 2, the final part of this tutorial, where I will add bass, organ and some effects to the drum track I made in part 1. The final result will be a very simple reggae tune made with GarageBand on an iPad. Now that we have recorded the drums, we will add an organ to get a skank on the second and fourth beat in each bar. So we can remove the drums that we duplicated, we don't need them anymore, delete them, and then we add a keyboard. So let's add a smart piano. Instead of the grand piano, we select a classic rock organ. So we will make a very simple and common pattern of chord progressions. We will have a chord progression starting with C, and then with G, A minor, and F, and that's it. Let's hit the record button. And after the organ, we will record a bass line following exactly the same chords as the organ. So add a bass. Here we have a bass. And what you can do here is that you tap some random notes in each of the chords, in the C chord, in the G chord, in the F chord, in the A minor chord. So in the C chord we have those notes. We have in the G chord we have, in the A chord we have, and in the F chord we have. So actually we can just use any of those. So then I will have to use the C chord for 2 bars, and that will sound something like this. And then the same for the G chord. This is slightly different for the A chord. And the same for the F chord, more or less. Let's hit record. After the bass, the final track, which will be a simple melody. We will use a rock organ again. So let's add a rock organ. So this time we won't use the chords, but we will use the individual keys on the piano keyboard. And again, when we have the C chord, we will use basically these keys. For the G, these, and so on. So we will just make a very simple melody, something like this. And repeat that in for the different chords. Let's record. The final thing to do now is to add some effects, and we will start to do that on the skank organ. Let's hit effects. We can solo the rock organ, and just to make a short listen to it, we have, for example, the filter. And we have a delay. So these two we will use to get a little more dynamic sound. What you can do is that you can record the effects. So again, with the effects open, we just hit the record and add some delay and add some filter to the organ. It will sound something like this. So now we have recorded the filters. It's a little tricky to have the effects only on the rock organ. If I unsolo that, then the effects will affect all the tracks, and that's not really what I want. I only want the effects on the organ track. I have to merge the organ track and the effects track. And to merge them, what I should do first is that I should make a copy of the organ track. I should duplicate it. Otherwise, the original notes will disappear when I merge the tracks. So I select a copy of the organ, which actually just copies the settings, not the notes themselves. So I have to copy this as well and paste it here. So now I have two tracks that are the same. And then I choose one of them and I merge it with the effects. So I select merge. I have to tick the checkbox for the organ track and for the effects track, and then type merge in the upper right corner. So then I will have a new track here called merged tracks and also called audio recorder. So I should rename that so I know what it is. So rename it to something, for example, organ filter echo, something like that. And then I can mute this organ. And if I listen to it now, now I will add an echo also on the organ, on the melody organ, but my timing isn't the best. So I have to actually make a change to the organ first. What I have to do is I have to change some track settings, and I have to do some quantization here, which actually puts the notes in the right places because my timing isn't that good. So I try to stick them to 8th notes, and that should do it. And then we should have the right timing. Let's add some filters and delays also to the melody. Right. Now we only have to merge the melody organ and the effects track as well. Again, we should duplicate the organ first. How we do that? Duplicate. Copy. Paste. Merge. And merge with the effects track. Okay, and finally rename it. Melody filter echo. Now we can delete the effects track and we should mute the melody without echo, and yeah, we can listen to it. So, thank you all for watching. Here we have the final tune. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'm sure you can make it much better than this short start, but at least this is a beginning. You can add real instruments, you can add song, you can play around with all the settings, or you can just listen to it as it is.